Hey, what's good, y'all? Figured I'd give y'all another vlog video for Saturday. Sure, it's a rainy day today. Well, those of us over here. But, I figured I'd start by saying that, now that I have a new sense of understanding how I'm gonna go about things moving forward, I feel like now because I've had each and every opportunity to come to my senses on how I go about my life. Um, Receiving the help that I need, receiving the help that I can get in order for me to keep moving forward, to keep improving on myself, to be better for myself, be a better me. I feel like this topic that I wanted to get into is based on consistency. Why? Because after this past week, and I had my therapy session, we got into that topic. I was speaking on it with my therapist. I mean, this one is temporary at the moment until my actual therapist comes back. But even still, I had this conversation about consistency and routine because anything and everything involving all of us individuals, so when it comes to having a routine, you got to be able to be committed to that routine, consistent with that routine, because otherwise you slip up just a tiny bit. Even the tiniest slip up could set things off. You go off on a tangent, you're getting sidetracked, you're getting distracted by something else instead of focusing what you should be paying attention to. And in this case, for me, I feel like when it comes to consistency in terms of routine, there are certain things that I tend to keep up with from time to time. I keep up with this, I keep up with that. But when it comes to the essential things that I have to keep up with on a day to day basis, I tend to get stubborn with it. Yes, I can admit to that. I tend to get stubborn with it, and then when it gets pointed out to me, then I start to get away about it. I start to feel away about it because I knew that if I'm gonna keep being reminded of this, it seemed like I haven't learned anything. And then I'm ready to just get in my feelings. I start to do the whole isolation thing all over again because I don't want to deal with the reality of the situation. I don't want to deal with the truth of what's being pointed out to me because the best way to acknowledge how I'm going about my life is to face that truth about myself, to come to terms with it myself, so that it doesn't have to take for someone else, whether it's my family or not, or in this case, between my family and outside voices that tells me this, therapy in this case, to let me know on this. It's not just them letting me know on this, it's me as well. It's me, ultimately, reminding myself of that. In order to be consistent with everything that I do in my life, I have to commit to it. Because the moment I get sidetracked, I get distracted, I go off on a tangent, it becomes a situation where my mind is all over the place. I'm discombobulated. And then I get frustrated at the fact that if I slip up on one thing, if I forget one thing, it starts to become an issue where I start tearing myself down for it. And I don't want to have to keep doing that for the rest of my life. It's just a matter of me being able to come to terms with the reality of it all, that when it comes to consistency, it's a matter of being able to stay on top of things, but to also take my time with staying on top of things as well, because it's not like I could do everything at once. Because this also ties into the aspect of um, not everything is going to go my way. Not everything is going to go the way I thought it would. So, in order for me to come to terms with that, in order for me to come to that realization, to fully understand what that's meant to be, what direction am I heading in due to that, I have to manage my time with it. Whatever it is that I'm focusing on, that's going to be the focus for me to pay attention to, especially when it comes to the important things that I gotta deal with in my life, starting with me. I gotta be able to take care of myself before I take care of everything else outside of that. Because taking care of myself is important when it comes to having a routine, when it comes to consistency. It starts with me. I feel like because I've gotten stubborn with the most important things that's meant to take place in my life, where I'm supposed to be taking care of myself in order for me to be the best version of myself that I can be, a better version of myself than how I was before. It's being able to acknowledge that. Acknowledge the fact that I can admit my faults, this being one of them. When I get stubborn with a routine, it's a way of me feeling like, certain things that I tend to keep up with, it's based around the stuff that I'm interested in. It's based around the stuff that I want to focus on. Key situation here. Key situation. I focus on the stuff that I want to put that time and energy into. But when it comes to the essential stuff that I have to put my time and energy into, I don't do the same for that. Why put my energy into all of this if I don't do the same for the essentials? I'm just focusing on what I want to look into and be consistent with instead of the essential things that I have to stay on top of. And the more I do that, the more it starts to become a pattern that shouldn't be the case. Because in order for me to get to everything, I got to be able to look at everything. How I start my day, how I finish my day, in terms of everything that I'm trying to do throughout the day. Stay focused on that, and then I can get to the next thing that I'm heading towards. It's progression at a slow pace, but the appropriate pace in order for me to get a grasp on everything that I'm working towards, that I'm looking towards, that I'm heading towards. In order for me to reach those next steps, I had to start somewhere. I have to be mindful. I have to be aware. I have to acknowledge it. I have to address it. Because if I don't, then I'm stuck. I'll just be stuck in one place. I'm stagnant. I'm not allowing myself to open myself up to more possibilities of what I can do in order for me to keep moving, in order for me to get to where I want to be in life, to be that better version of myself. Because it's one thing for me to say it, but if I don't do anything about that to make it possible, to make it so, then it's just hypocritical of me to even talk about something like this if I don't apply that. It only makes more sense that words are complemented with actions. Actions that actually help the situation, not make things worse. Routine, consistency, and acknowledgement. That is the most important thing for me to go about in life, knowing that not everything is going to go the way I thought, not everything is going to go the way I expect, not everything is going my way. I just have to accept that. But when I commit to something and I put all that time and energy into it, that's it. I have to stick to that. If I'm going to be constantly reminded of that my entire life, did I really learn anything at all? Because again, it's one thing for me to say that I get it, I understand, I received the message, but this is that scenario of goes one ear, comes out the other. I say I get it, but then I fall back into my habits of being consistently inconsistent. So what I'm trying to do now is not fall into that trap again. Because it is important to know that in order for me to keep moving forward, and don't be stuck in one place all the time, I have to acknowledge it and I have to apply it. I can't just say it and don't do anything about it. I feel like with this vlog, it's important for me to get this out. Because as much as this is a reminder for me, it's also a reminder for everyone. Keep that in mind, y'all. This is Blue Flames the Poet, and I'm out.